Sound check, sound check. It's the sound check. Is anyone there? Let's see. Are we on? Sound good? Yep, sound check's good. Awesome. All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Roll Out of Bed, where no matter what time it is, we just woke up. I'm your Game Master, Nev. Our player, Ian, is running a little bit late today due to buses and things. You know how it is with public transportation. Not terribly reliable, at least in the United States. But I can still give you a little recap while we wait. So, last time we joined our protagonist, Benjamin Newman. He had just escaped from not the Brave New World, the Cortholian preacher ship, away from Joe Sakamura, who he suspects to be Corthol's harbinger, if I can speak this morning. Oh man, I really did just wake up. It's summer, and now I like to sleep in, and it becomes early at noon when you sleep until 2 p.m. Incidentally. But yes, he just escaped. He met up with Krat Katenkin and Marimba, who helped him escape on their own little ship. He arrived on a world that's alien to him. He made a few startling discoveries, and after a while, he managed to track down a communication hub where he attempted to call the Sakamura line, and after that, he attempted to call several other people. He found a phone nearby in a trash can, which he believed to be a burner, and after calling the most recent numbers on it, he returned to his ship. He was stopped by a small task force of police of a sort, of some kind of, he doesn't know what they were. They were dressed in some sort of orange uniform, and they briefly confiscated his phone, looked at it after they frisked him and saw what he had on him. And then he returned to the ship with Kratkatank and Marimba, where after a brief conversation, he was confronted by Eddie Sakamura, who then took him in his own personal ship, a small vessel, very fast, very hot rod-like, to a small island near one of the poles of the planet, where he found a large bunker-like structure. Think Svalgard or Svalsgard, whatever it's called, the seed bunker in Greenland that keeps all of those seeds, like that type of shape. After which he went inside and was taken to a small padded room. I think last time I may have described it as large. That's not entirely correct. Just a cell type sized room where he was briefly unhandcuffed and then handcuffed to the table again. Upon a brief interrogation by Eddie Sakamura, Eddie was alarmed to find out that Joe had, quote unquote, gotten through. He's here. Benjamin Newman still isn't quite sure what that means. And in a rushed attempt to unhandcuff him to go do whatever it was Eddie was going to do, he made skin-to-skin contact, which seemed to activate something on Benjamin Newman, who was flung backwards along with Eddie in opposite directions. And when he looked back down, his missing arm had been replaced by a large purple muscular type arm, the same purple hue that the mist that encompasses space is, as long as the strange marking on his arm when he still had it before it was removed. And that's where we left off. As soon as our fun little player Ian arrives, we can progress with the little story. I'm thinking what else I can do to distract y'all till he gets here. Oh, right. Of course. For those of you just tuning in, if you haven't tuned in before, this is the campaign Brave New World. It's using the system GURPS. It's my favorite system. I've been using it for about I've been saying 8 years. It's probably about 9 now. Probably about 9 years. Ian's been using it 1.5 2 years, maybe. It uses a 3d6 system. If you look at Ian's character sheet in the video description, you will find, you'll see basically what it looks like. You want to roll under the number. The only time, in order to succeed your roll, the only time higher numbers are better in GURPS is damage and reaction rolls. Yeah, but we're using GURPS. That's the campaign Brave New World, since it's GURPS. Yes, what? Yes, as I was saying. Yeah. Well, now we're simply waiting on our good friend Ian. So, Let's see. I've been playing GURPS a while. Let's see what I got. One of my favorite things about GURPS, we're just gonna like go on a little rant while we wait, I suppose, is that you really can make pretty much anything. GURPS is by a system defined. It doesn't have its own, unlike things like D&D where it's like, oh, there's a world, there's things like that. Anything outside of the official books is homebrew. GURPS doesn't really have that, which is something I appreciate. GURPS is basically entirely homebrew. There's no preset worlds. There's no, I mean, there's a list of preset advantages and things like that, but that's any system. But you can truly basically make any power you want using just the official rules. You don't ever have to make anything up, which is very nice. Every advantage, along with the advantages and disadvantages, there's a list of limitations and enhancements that you can add to practically anything in order to make any power. This is a segment I was thinking about doing, maybe with Ian later on in the future. Just let's make a power, something like that. Just give me the most ridiculous power you can think of, and we'll just throw it together and see what happens, because I have yet to come across a power that cannot be made using the GURPS system. That's why it's my favorite. Ian, how late is this bus going to be? Oh boy, golly. Let's see. Oh, I just opened the chat. That's my mistake. Yeah, sure. Q&A is fine. That's a very late response on my behalf, but apologies on that. I have the chat open now. Sorry. Keep in mind that I have 3 different devices open for recording the chat and running the actual campaign. When Ian's here, we have another laptop for his character sheet, so things get a bit hectic and I'm not able to view the chat at all times during the thing. How did the Brave New World come about? Okay, yeah, I can do that. So the Brave New World, this is actually set in a universe that I run several campaigns in. I have another group of players. This is just the other group of players. We've been doing it for about 9 years, and all the campaigns are pretty far in. So I didn't start recording any of those. If I'm going to start recording a campaign, I like to start at the beginning, and most of them have been going for at least a few sessions, if not years. So this campaign, which is Brave New World, is set in Elonian space, which is actually a universe that's fairly fleshed out. I have 2 campaigns with my other group of players. There's about 5 of them, and then I've done 2 campaigns with Ian in the past in this universe before, along with several others. So I'm thinking which campaigns we've run. I've run War for Kachanya, which is a campaign where they're in a planet just outside of charted space, which is in wild space. And the Sanctioned Amalgamate, which is basically the space UN, has been trying to take over the planet, and they're a group of people who are basically working for the planet to keep it under the planet's governmental control. I've run Zebexian Embassy, which was a group of mercenaries, people on a job who were transporting Zebexian crystals. Zebexians are a kind of a 4th dimensional race which exists in a nebulous cloud next to this next to Elonian space system, and they have a type of crystal. And that campaign didn't run a very long time because some of the players had to leave. I've run the original Elonian space, which was just titled Elonian space, and that one was that was the Rexus contingency. It was not titled Elonian space. That's my mistake. And that one was about ragtag group who was also hired on a job, and they released a powerful psionic from a prison because they were hired to, and they what did they do? They found a whole conspiracy behind it, and they got pretty far in that. I think one of the characters died, and then several of the players just had to leave for school and things, so that one kind of died down. And then there's, I think Elonian Space is the plain one, and one of the players hasn't been around for a while, so we haven't played that one in a while. But yeah, this is just a universe that I fleshed out. This is my sci-fi universe. I have several others in GURPS. Looking at this, we have a spreadsheet with my other group, and we literally have like almost 30 to 40 campaigns going at once. We just cycle through them. Yeah, this is just a campaign I wrote in this universe, and I thought it would be fun, and we started recording. That was a very long and roundabout answer. I have no idea if I answered the question, but if so, I'll take another if you would like. Oh, and apologies about last week. We just had several things come up that neither of us expected, and we were gonna reschedule it for later in the day, and it just turned out no times worked for either of us. So that's our fault for not making that clear on here. But it was a bit late when we found out. Yeah. Ooh, he wasn't kidding about the buses being late, was he? Oh well. Um. Ba, 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 ba. Yeah, I have. I mean, I guess I'll just talk until another question comes in. Oh, there you are.
Hi.
Hello.
Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. I just did a short like Q&A kind of thing.
Oh, nice.
He's arrived.
I'm here.
You are here.
It's also very warm.
You're very warm,
Yeah.
and you can turn on the fan and the AC if you want.
Just the last time I've come here, I had a very much lighter bag.
Okay, so the multiverse / purple mist space thing. So that's I've used it before in another campaign. It's new to Ian. I'm not going to reveal a ton about that because that's kind of still an ongoing story point, and Ian's here now. I mean, he could have listened to it and found spoilers anyway if I had talked about it, but it's something I've used before in planning anyway. Some of the players have encountered something like it before. This is the first campaign where someone's actively like interacted with it, but yeah, but yeah, it's not entirely new. Almost everything we've encountered so far are things that have just already been set in the universe. I have a fairly extensive list of planets and a star chart and things like that, which I'm not sharing with everyone just because they're a mess. I understand them, but there's no reason to subject everyone else to the horror that is my bad management skills.
They don't need it.
Yeah, and they don't really need it. It's more of a little. I might release it at some point in the future if I clean it up, but. Also, right now, there isn't as clear of a star chart for the current area, but I mean, I have my things, but your dice.
My dice. A million freaking D&D books.
Oh no, you're fine, man. I literally set an alarm and I woke up and it was noon and I was like, oh crap. I was sleepy.
All right.
The bus is running late.
No, it's just like the schedule sync up.
Oh,
here,
gotcha.
'cause I have to switch.
Nah, yeah, no problem.
Gotta love public transportation.
Yeah, I talked about public transportation a little bit.
It's so reliable.
It'd be good if we weren't in the U.S.
Oh yeah, and then any other country that has it.
Basically, yeah.
Pretty
I mean, like
much.
Japan, fantastic.
Dude, I wish
We should go. We should go back to Japan.
We should
Just for the podcast.
Just for the
We'll just go run it there.
Yeah.
We'll fly there every Friday.
Yeah, it'll be great.
Yeah.
Get a timeshare over there or something.
Timeshare? Yeah.
I don't actually know what those.
Neither do I. You said it though, so I repeated it.
I sure did say it.
We should probably know what that is.
It's
We're gonna have to own property at some point in the
It
future.
involves property ownership.
It does.
And, like, multiple people, I think.
I think
I
so.
don't know. I hear they're bad. I hear that you don't want to get one.
Really?
Yeah. Everyone always complains about their timeshares.
That sounds right.
Or at least,
I feel like it's having a roommate, but worse.
yeah. So it's like you're sharing your whole. I don't actually know.
Neither do I. I'm just making things up.
Aren't we all?
Aren't we all every day of our lives?
Let me get everything I need open real quick.
Yeah, no problem.
Steam, I don't need you. You should die.
Let me just. I'm gonna turn the fan on. Actually,
Go for it. This. It's not page.
I realize the farther I get away from the mic, I might not be audible, but like whatever.
I did. Benjamin.
That's the boy.
All right.
That's the point. I don't think it is.
It's the boy.
Oh, that's the boy, Benjamin Newman.
He sure is.
He sure is.
Yeah. And then.
Oh, good. I was just making sure. At one point, I muted, and I was like, "Did I unmute the mic ever?" That would have been awkward if I'd been talking back, and it was just pure silence.
Just silence. Okay. Good old
Would-
Benny New.
Would have been exciting.
It sure would. It would have been
It
thrilling.
would have been exciting for everybody. Just a complete silence.
They would have loved it.
They would have, yeah.
Okay. Let me get my notebook open.
Your little notebook.
Yeah. Brave New Worlds. Russian boy.
Do you need the refresher again as well, or?
I think I mostly remember.
Okay, yeah. I mean, the last thing that happened was you were in the small little padded room.
Yeah, I
and-
had like a purple arm. Was
Yeah, you did. You got like a buffalo purple arm after you were blasted back after
Touching.
Eddie Sakamura made contact with you when trying to undo the handcuffs.
I sure did. Yes. Okay.
You got little things open?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I can now see chat and also the my character.
I can as well. I didn't have chat open originally, and then I opened it, and then I was like, oh, whoops! Somebody asked for Q&A a while back. Yeah. So, yes. Last thing that happened is you failed a little will roll, and I said, hey, you gotta attack Eddie.
I do.
You do.
I do.
I believe you have a brawling skill because
have-
you are currently
yeah.
unarmed.
I have brawling
You do.
at level 1.
I mean, you do have to attack. You can choose how
do
to
have
attack
to
if you
attack.
like. Otherwise, it'll just be a generic little random hit location attack.
Actually, can I like?
Yeah.
Can I try to grab him instead of actually like?
Yeah,
hitting
sure.
him?
Grapple is an attack. Go for it.
That will probably be less painful.
In theory.
Presumably. I'm gonna roll and then you can tell me what happens.
Certainly.
That's, 12.
12. Your skill is 11. Wow. Okay. You're worse than I thought.
I'm not strong.
No, that's
nor a
fine.
fighter.
That's fine. I no, 11's not bad. It's above 50%. I just
Sure is.
for some reason I thought it was higher than that.
I still failed.
You did. You go in for a little kind of like a you think like, okay, I feel like aggressive urges. I have to do something. And you go in for you think, okay, I'll try to grab because that'll at least postpone any damage. And you go in and you feel your body kind of come in for like a bear hug thing, and Eddie just sidesteps it basically. You weren't really close enough. You took like a step forward, and it wasn't enough because you both got blasted to opposite sides of the room, and he just easily like takes less than half a step back, and he's out of the way. And Eddie just says, you hear Eddie say, "Come on, kid. This isn't that bad. You can fight this. You don't got to do this."
I honestly have no idea what's going on.
Okay, you are able to say that.
Good. That's a good thing.
You were able to actively speak.
Oh, thank goodness.
So let's see,
So
Eddie.
I am partially in control of my actions. Just
You appear to be, yes.
the attack was inevitable.
It was inevitable. Okay.
It was going to happen.
All right. So you see it. So you see Eddie kind of he pulls up one of his hands and he does like a, I don't know what this gesture is. He's holding something,
right,
like an open palm, and you see like a small fireball starts like forming in his hand. And that's all he does this turn. Make a will roll to not attack.
Okay. I'm good at that.
You are.
That's
How
4,
good?
5, 6, 7, 8. So success by 4.
Nice. Okay, that is enough. You can control your actions this turn.
Awesome.
What would you like to do?
I'd like to put my hands up and say, I really don't know what's going on, but I think it's best if I'm restrained for the moment.
Okay. Let's see. All right. Okay, so yeah, Eddie says, yeah, I'm definitely inclined to agree with you on that front. Let's see if we can get those handcuffs back on. I'm just gonna get back over to the table. So Eddie walks back over the table and he picks up the handcuffs.
Okay.
And he takes a few steps towards you, and that's the most he can do on his turn. Okay, yeah. So it would be you again. Make another will roll.
Okay. Please roll well again. That's not bad. That's 6 and 8. 9, 10, so it's success by 2.
Not quite. Not quite. Okay, so you're gonna have to make a little attack. You cannot grapple a second time.
I can't grapple a second time.
Not this turn.
Then I'll just make a general attack.
Okay, sure.
That was also bad. 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So it failed by 3.
14 failed by 3. Okay. All right. Yeah.
It's a good thing I'm not good at fighting.
Yeah. No, you certainly aren't.
This is unintentional.
I mean, he's unarmed in the fact that he doesn't have. Oh, it's a joke. Okay. I'm not smart. Yes, I am. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
There.
So why did I roll to dodge? You didn't hit.
No, there's no reason.
It's just impulse. Yeah. Okay. So you go in for just like a generic. You feel he takes a few steps towards you, and you try to fight it, and you almost hold it back this time, but it's just like, ooh, not quite. Whoa, gross. Almost not. You're just like, ooh, not quite. and you feel you pull back and you go in for a punch. And Eddie kind of sidesteps and like he half sidesteps, and he realizes like, oh, he's not gonna hit me anyway.
Right.
And he just like he takes like a step back, and then he waits until that's done. He's gonna take another step forward, and he's gonna try to put these on you. He just says, all right, just hold on a second. I'm gonna try to get this on you.
Okay.
No, my die. Okay.
Down to the floor.
No.
No.
Eddie, what? Just a second. What happens there?
Critical fail.
He did critical fail.
Oh my goodness.
That is correct.
Eddie, they're handcuffed.
Eddie's trying.
It's not as bad as a radio, I suppose.
It's well, I mean, I'm just not really. This is a grapple, actually. I'm not sure what really happens. Let me make sure. Yes, I am sure what happens. That's a. Where's the number? I need to actually calculate 9. He drops it. Eddie has dropped the handcuffs. So Eddie kind of like goes to. Eddie's trying to do it fast because he wants to like get in and out as fast as possible. And he looks like he tries to do that like flashy thing where like a cop will just like swing it onto you. And he tries that, and he just kind of like it slips out of his hand and it falls to the floor instead of on you. And he just looks at it and is like, oh, that's not ideal.
You know, you probably shouldn't have gone for Flash.
Yeah, I'm seeing that now. It is your turn again.
Okay,
So
I'm
you're
gonna
gonna
try
roll
not to
roll.
attack him.
Okay.
Hey, that's not bad. That's 8 again.
That's success by 4?
No, it's more than 4.
Oh, it's more than 4.
Because it's 12, and that's so it's success by 8. Sorry, I'm stupid. It was 4.
You started saying 10, and I'm like, your will is
I
not 24.
I was not gonna say 10. I was gonna say. Like,
I know you were counting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. That's enough. So you're just. I guess you're just staying with you. Just put your hands back up or
Yeah.
whatever.
I'll like put them out. So
Okay.
they're prepared to be cuffed.
Okay. Yeah. All right. That works. So. Eddie is going to pick up. Eddie picks up the handcuffs. Let's see. Is he fast enough to put them on the same turn? It's possible.
I don't know why, but for some reason, my mind is seeing this arm not as like an articulated arm, but like one of those like gooey rubbery things that just kind of goes on its own. Like that's not definitely not.
Are
what
you
it
thinking
is.
like a sticky hand?
No, not like a sticky, but like you know, like games where you like control each limb like individually with the mouse. They just kind of go.
I do.
That's what I'm seeing.
Now I'm seeing like Octodad.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
that's like the
no.
limb I'm seeing, but like thick and purple.
I thought you were imagining like one of those sticky hands you get out of the
No.
quarter machines.
No,
Like, you just-
even worse.
that's a good arm. It's a good prosthetic. Get a bunch of sticky hands.
Tie them together, put them on.
Yeah. Just turn fast. That's how you use it.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, okay, so Eddie picks up the handcuffs. He gets one side on you, but he's not able to get both this turn. Get another little roll for me.
Do good by me. That's not good. That would be an exactly 12.
Exactly
That's
correct. This is not
good.
quite enough.
No.
Okay. So you're gonna have to make another little attack. Your choice.
Just gonna do it random.
Okay.
Whatever it probably won't hit. Ooh.
What'd you make a little roll there?
6, 8, 9, 10. That's a
10
success.
is under 11. Okay, let's see. Does Eddie dodge?
I hope so.
Let's see. Okay. That is okay. Eddie has dodged.
Thank
All right.
goodness.
All right. So this is the first time you got like a really solid hit out. Like you throw a punch and you're like, okay, this is a good punch.
Right.
More than the other ones where it's like, that wasn't really fantastic. I didn't really get a good hit off there. So you throw this punch and Eddie ducks out of the way. Like he's got one handcuff on you and your other hand just reels back
Right.
and throws forward. And as soon as it throws forward, you feel pushed back a little bit. Like you feel a really strong wave of air press you back. And you hear a large crash against the side of the room, and you look, and Eddie looks back, and you can see that there is now a large dent in the door of this padded room, and Eddie just goes, oh, that's not fantastic. Okay,
Then outwards,
huh?
like the force was from inside the room.
Yes.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
not good.
Yeah. Eddie just goes, oh, that's not great. Okay.
Yes, ideal, I would say.
Yeah.
It's That's a lot of force.
That is a lot of force.
Oh no.
Especially considering you didn't actually make contact with the door.
Yes, that is, and it traveled through just air, which is not good at,
Okay.
Eddie's
gonna try to get this. Eddie's gonna try to get this one on you, but you do feel the strong impulse to dodge. I don't think your dodge is fantastic, but make a little dodge. I think it's just 8, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just 8, so it's not great. That's definitely not.
No. Okay, you did not dodge that. Okay. So Eddie has gotten Eddie kind of you feel like you almost pull back, but you're not quite fast enough. And Eddie gets this other one on you. Both your arms are now together. You're not entirely restrained, but your arms are bound together.
That's true.
My
mismatched arms.
Yeah, that's true. That's not entirely restrained, but it is something. Okay. And you see Eddie takes a few steps back. It looks like he's heading for the door, but now it is your turn again.
The only drawback I can see to this is ripping my own arm off.
What the?
Well, like in reality,
I see what you're saying.
This wasn't a game, because like I'm assuming the purple arm is larger than my normal arm. So if it has enough force to dent the door from that far away, it could easily at least rip my hand off, if not my entire arm. With one.
That's a fair assessment. But also, like, you can just move both your arms in tandem.
I'm aware, but like, if I was punching out this way,
yeah, I see what you're saying.
It could. I'm not saying it. Yeah.
No, I see what you're saying.
In the game, it probably won't happen, but in reality, it'd be very much a problem.
Oh no, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Joe is on the other side of the room from you now, but you do need to make another will roll.
I will do that. I'm gonna try to roll. Wow, that was
the 6 was bad. The other 2 numbers might be good.
Yeah, so that's 6, 7, 8, 9.
9 success by 3.
Yeah.
Okay. Higher or lower?
Higher.
Okay. You don't have to make an attack this turn, but you do move slightly towards. You do move closer to Joe.
I'll take it.
Okay.
Eddie.
Oh, Eddie. Sorry, yeah, not Joe.
Yeah.
Different Sakamura.
Large family.
Thanks for catching me there.
Yeah.
I was talking about Joe before.
There you go.
Okay. Yeah. So you see Eddie kind of peers out. It has there's a small window, like the kind that you think like mental hospital, like the weird like little slide or like I guess not, maybe prison, like maximum security, like the little
like
slidey, the slit you can slide open. There's like bulletproof glass on the other side, and you can see out.
Right.
Yeah. So you see Eddie kind of slides open that, and he looks out and he just goes, "Ooh, hey," and you don't know who he's talking to, but he doesn't seem enthused about it.
Right.
Okay, yeah. So it is your turn again. Make another little will roll.
All right.
I know you don't like these will rolls.
I don't. I would like to not have this arm on me anymore. I prefer to being one-armed. Nope.
No, not even close.
That's fail by 3.
Oh, that is a fail by 3, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's. I think that's the worst you've done so far.
It is. Yeah.
All right. So yeah, make another little attack roll.
See, these I want to roll poorly on.
Oh, I know. Ooh, no, that's under 11.
7, 8, 9. That's a success by 2.
2? Okay. 2. So let's see. Eddie will probably dodge, but maybe not.
Please dodge.
Oh. That's a 2. Okay.
Yeah.
As I drop my dice all over the place. Okay, yeah. Eddie does successfully sidestep. Eddie was right next to the door now. So as Eddie sidesteps out of the way, you feel kind of like you kind of have both your fists together, like clenched together in like kind of like a hammer fist thing, and you just kind of come like sideways across. It looks like you were going for like his skull or something.
Okay.
And Eddie just ducks out of the way. And as your swing goes forward, both your arms just smack into the door.
Oh, no.
And you feel a brief impact, and then just a very loud boom, and like you see the door just rocket outside of out of the hinges and smack against the far wall.
Oh my goodness.
And you can see there is a guard unconscious on the floor outside. It looks like he wasn't in the path of the door, so you're not certain why he's unconscious, but he is on the ground.
Okay, so he's unconscious, but he wasn't hit with the door.
No, he was not. It doesn't look like he was in the path of the door. He was definitely to the side of it.
That's odd. Okay.
And Eddie just turns and goes, "Oh, there's a way out now."
There sure is. I would suggest probably making me unconscious soon, because I don't really have much control over my own actions.
Oh, I got that at this point. Glad you can still talk at least.
Me too.
That is odd. You're not certain why you can
Yeah.
still have full verbal control while your
don't
physical functions aren't being entirely within your realm.
That's
Okay.
strange.
So you see Eddie ducks past you, and it looks like he races out the door, and he looks like he starts running down the hallway. And you hear as he passes by, he has a hand up to his like ear. You can tell he has like an earpiece in, and you can see presses it like the kind of like generic FBI kind of pose thing. I don't really know what those are called, but it's just an earpiece.
It's
yeah,
just an earpiece.
just an earpiece. And you hear he says, "All right, this is getting out of hand. We need Joe. Call in Joe." Okay.
I've heard of Joe. I don't know what he does. Okay.
Okay. All right. It is you again.
All right.
I think this. Yeah. Make a will roll.
Oh, that was decent. That's 10. Which isn't that great. So that's a success by 2, so that's probably not enough.
Okay. Success by how much?
2.
Okay, 2. Well, he's definitely not in range. So this turn, you just kind of start sprinting after him in the hall.
It's better than it's
Yeah, and you hear he still has his hand up to his ear. Oh wait, sorry. Sorry, he didn't say Joe. I messed up my names again. I don't know why I'm thinking about Joe so much this session. Sorry, he said Jack. That's my mistake.
Jack. I don't know Jack.
No, you don't. So,
Sorry.
oh my god. Oh my god.
It was a bad joke. I understand.
Sorry, I literally have it in front of me in my notes. It says Jack, and I read Joe.
That's okay.
I just saw the J and my brain tuned out. You feel me?
Yeah.
Sorry, Jack. That makes much more sense.
Okay.
After I said it, I was like, wait, Joe? There's 2 Joes? And then I look at my notes. I looked at my notes for a solid 4 seconds, and I was like, yeah, that's what it says. And it definitely wasn't.
That's all right.
Maybe I'm having a stroke. Who knows? No, okay, sorry. Yeah, so you dash after him this turn. And so Eddie, as I look at all these names on my sheet and continue to say the wrong ones, Eddie. Okay, yeah. Eddie is kind of running down the hall, and he's turning a corner, and you see he raises a hand back at you, and you feel a large burst of heat, and you can see there's a jet of flames coming towards you. You do feel both the impulse and like your actual self feel the impulse to maybe defend yourself.
I mean, I don't want to get hit with this.
Yeah.
So I am going to try to dodge.
Yeah.
But I won't feel bad if I don't. That's a fail by 3.
Fail by 3. Okay. So yeah, I gotta make my own little roll here. Okay, yes. So you see this coming towards you, and like you're just dashing straight forward. You have a lot of forward momentum. You can't really duck out of the way. You try to like maybe swerve, but like it's definitely too late. You're already coming full barrel. And this thing comes towards you, and like you try to dodge, and you're not able. But you feel at the last second, you feel a really strong impulse, and you feel like almost not of your own accord. We've already established that, but not of your own accord. The bigger arm kind of comes up. And it comes up in front of your face and part of your torso, and it seems to shield you a little bit. It's not like a huge arm. It's just more muscular. It's not like larger than your other arm. It's just more muscular. Right. In case I said that weird. And so it's shielded you a bit. That's going to take the bulk of the damage. You're going to take a little bit. But you have different armor, not the same armor. Okay, so that's going to be 3. So I know how much DR your has. Take 2 burning damage for me.
Okay, hold on. So my sheet says I'm at 10. Did I?
Yeah, you regained all your health. At the same time the arm appeared, you regained all your health. That is correct.
So it was 3 damage?
2. 8. You do still have the armor on, and you don't. I know how much DR it has, so I'm just applying it for you.
That's fair.
Once you've got that,
yes, I got it.
Okay, you've got that.
Down to 8.
Awesome.
Not bad.
All right. Yeah. So Eddie has turned the corner now. You look at your arm. You don't actually feel anything against your arm, so it looks like whatever it is, it's not like actually connected to your nervous system.
Right.
I mean, it's connected to your nervous system in the fact that it's giving you impulses that you're not able to act on, but like it doesn't have any pain senses or anything.
It's action, but not feeling.
Yeah, that's what it appears to be.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah. So make another little will roll,
Yeah.
unless you want to keep running. But
well,
Eddie has turned the corner, so you won't obviously be able to attack him this turn.
Right. I'm going to make the will roll, but even if I succeed it, I am going to continue to follow him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hey, that's not bad.
That is a success by 4.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's certainly good enough to act on your own accord this turn.
Yes. I want to stop running. I just want to walk.
Okay, so you walk.
So I'm not.
So yeah, you would have easily made the corner this turn if you continued to sprint. Walking, you just make it at the end. You turn the corner and you can see Eddie's almost at the end of the hall already. It looks like once you turn the corner, he started moving significantly faster. You don't know why, but I mean, he's definitely further away than you would have assumed. Yeah, you can see he's almost at the end of the hall. You can see there's all of those kind of doors the large doors you passed on the way in the different levels. You can see kind of like how a prison would be set up, where there's like the different levels. It wasn't quite like a prison, but that's how the building's set up. You can see that all of the doors are open now. They're slightly ajar, and you can see there are 2 more guards on the ground, unconscious.
Now that is extremely odd.
No, I mean, it certainly wasn't you. You haven't been here.
Yeah,
but
obviously.
I mean, unless you have some strange suspicions about what's going on, which I will obviously allow your suspicions. But
at this point, my mind is open.
Yeah. Okay. So you can see that Eddie is still on the comm. You can no longer hear what he's saying really, and he's facing away from you. You can hear he's speaking, but he's too far to make any actual words out. And he kind of glances back, and you can see he's shooting another thing. This one will be pretty easy to dodge because it's got a ways to go. But if he even hits, let's see. Nope, he didn't. You're pretty far away now. You'd wager he's like, yeah, I lost my thing. Oh well, that's fine. He's probably a good like 10, 15 meters away now. Right. So he's a good distance. And you can see a different. Not the last time it was like a jet. This time it was more of a small fireball type thing, not D&D fireball, like a real fireball, not like a nuke,
like a small ball of fire.
Yeah, not like D&D, which is a nuke.
It's pretty much just kill everything.
That's not a fireball. Anyway, yeah, yeah.
No, it's just an explosion.
It definitely is just an explosion. Yeah. So it kind of just goes past you, and you hear it hit like a wall behind you, and hear like maybe like you hear like the sound of like sizzling, maybe some dripping, like metal kind of moltening and melting off. Yeah, and it is your turn again.
Okay. I'm going to make a low roll to be in control of my own actions. Hey, that's not good.
Oh.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So,
11, yeah. So you're just going to continue dashing forward. Yeah, so you just continue dashing forward. You're a little faster than you would normally be. You assume that it's probably not like unnaturally fast, probably just like adrenaline or something out of your control.
Right.
But you're going a little faster than you would regularly go at full sprint. It's just something you take note of.
Okay.
Yeah. So Eddie, you kind of see Eddie makes it to the far door, and he gets. If I can stop stuttering, he gets through it, and you can see he turns around and he pushes it shut. And you can hear the sound of like a metal latch going on. So he's made it out to the door, out of the door, and you don't know he's out of your sight now. Okay. As you run down, as you continue to sprint down the hall, you can kind of glance into all the rooms. You can see that all the rooms are. You don't know if they were empty before, but they are now. The doors weren't ajar before, so you couldn't see in. But now the rooms are all definitely empty as you pass by. The only people you see were Eddie and those 2 unconscious guards.
Right. Okay.
And it is you again.
All right.
Unless you want to remain here, you don't really need to make a will roll because there's nothing to immediately attack in your vicinity, but it's up to you.
I want to go to one of the doors.
Okay, you will need to make a will roll for that.
Yeah.
Anything other than to pursue Eddie, just make a will roll.
Cool. Hey.
That's definitely a success.
Really good. That's a 4, 5, 6, 4, 7, because I can count. No, it's 5.
That's 5.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm saying 4 and 7.
You said 7. I looked down. I'm like, that's 2 2s and a 1. All right. Yeah. No, I feel you.
That's fine.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. So you can definitely go and look into one of the rooms.
Actually, what I was gonna do is I was gonna close the door.
Which door? Oh, you want to go in and close one of the doors?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I want to, because I'm curious to see if I can replicate what happened with the door in the other room.
Okay. I'll say you can definitely get in and close the door. To do another thing is a bit much for one turn.
I wasn't thinking it would be one turn. But
okay, yeah,
that's what I'm going.
So you kind of like you get like a second of control and you just kind of like veer off into one of the rooms, kind of like shoulder bash your way through the door, kind of like you're just like, oh, I have a second of control, and just like you're gonna kick it closed behind you.
Fantastic.
You don't see what Eddie does, obviously, because he's out of your sight now.
He is.
We are still technically in combat time, so we're going to continue that. Make another will roll to control your actions.
Please roll well again.
Oh man, that's a 17. Okay. Make an HT roll for me.
Okay. Hey, that's not
Much
bad.
better,
That's 5, 6,
but-
7, 8. So that's a success by 2.
8 success by 2. Okay, that's certainly enough. All right, so you feel for a second you when you try to gain control again, and for a second you get like a huge like a really strong migraine for just half a second in your head, like a huge pang of pain, and you feel really dizzy for a second, like you almost lose consciousness, but you get a grip of yourself, but you don't have control this turn. But you were able to maintain consciousness at least.
That's better than not having.
It certainly is. So you see, your arm kind of the stronger. Well, actually, they're both chained together. That's correct. So you feel both your arms come up again, and that kind of. I got awkwardly close to the mic there. Sorry, I dropped a thing. You feel both your arms come up again, and that kind of hammer fist clenched together kind of strike, and they both go against the door. And the door, you smack the door, and the door just crumples inward and like rockets against the opposite hall, and strikes the wall.
Okay. Well, that almost accomplished what I wanted to.
But yeah, and at the end of your turn, you start. You can't start sprinting in one turn, but you start moving out of the room again.
All right.
I know not quite what you wanted, but that's what happens.
It is more information. That's fine. It
Okay.
slowed me down at least.
It did slow you down. Okay, yeah. So yes, that's correct. So yeah, it's you again, since the other person in this encounter is out of sight.
Okay.
I'm doing things for them, but
Oh, wow. That's once again really bad. 6, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So, yeah.
That's a fail by 3.
okay, yeah. So yeah, you start dashing forward again. It looks like you're actually gonna do actually roll to hit for me.
11.
11, that's right on.
Yes.
Okay, yes. So as you move forward, it looks like you're doing a move and attack, or something like that. I'm not. Yeah. Yeah. It's a move and attack. I'm ignoring the minuses for this situation. I've applied them in a separate way, just so you know.
Okay.
Because I know 11 wouldn't normally be a hit for move and attack. I'm just letting you know that. Move and attack is normally -3 with a cap of 9. I always remove the cap. The -3 is weird in this situation, though. For those who don't know the rules, like I just have them all memorized. Yeah, so you kind of, as you're running, you feel your arms come back again. You kind of do like a thing against the thing before you get to the door,
Right.
and you do feel a large whoosh again of some kind, and you see a dent forms in the door ahead of you as you're running.
I see.
And it is you again. If you want to do anything other than continue towards the door, the
Uh,
far door, the one that Eddie went through.
No, I'll just.
Okay, so yeah, you continue running again, and it looks like you're gonna make it to it this turn. And as you get there again, your arms come back again, and right as you go through, right as you get to it, they come forward, and you smack against the door again, and you feel this door doesn't as easily just fly off its hinges, but it does kind of crumple inward, and you can see in both of the places where it's kind of like it was latched at the top and the bottom, and both the places where it was latched, it stayed in place, but it kind of just crumples inward and tears open from the
Right.
center, and you just kind of torn a hole open in the middle of this door.
Great.
And you kind of like leap through a little bit, like do a small a small little hop through, and you can see that there's the other door on the other side of this one, but that door isn't armored. It's just like a kind of like automatic type door, and
Well,
it kind
that's
of
not going to do much.
not really. You can see it starts to open as you make it to it, and you can see outside in the it is outside past this door. You can see outside in the kind of snowy area. You're near one of the caps. It's not like Arctic, but it's still colder. It's like a kind of like Greenland type environment.
Right.
That's more or less what this location is like. And you can see Eddie is kind of he's made it a good ways out, and he stopped running. You can see he's looking up, and you can see he's on his radio. He's just looking up. He looks you're a bit far, but he looks concerned. Maybe it's hard to make out his exact expression from here.
I look concerned.
You certainly do. All right, it is your turn again.
Okay. I'm gonna try and stop here.
Okay, make a little roll. Ooh,
No.
is that normal? You made your. Oh, you didn't quite make your normal will. Okay, yeah. So he's definitely still too far away to do anything really. At least that's what it feels like. You just kind of run out of the way through the automatic doors, and you're outside. He's still a good. It looks like he made it quite a ways, and when you stalled, he's a good 50 meters away. He's not like out of sight, but he's in the distance.
Right.
Yeah, and you make it probably. You get like get closer. He's probably like 40-ish meters away at the end of this turn. And once you actually get outside, you can tell it's your eyes are just kind of like locked on Eddie because of the way these things are for now. But you can tell it's a lot darker than when you came in. You're not sure why, but it is going to be. Eddie looks up and he sees you, and he kind of goes back to his radio again. It would be you again.
Okay. Once again, I'm going to try not continue on towards Eddie.
Okay.
As best I can. No.
No.
That's one worse than last time.
One worse than last time. Oh darn.
Yeah.
Oh dang. Oh man. Oh well. Yeah. Okay.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you continue running forward. And you hear a loud above you. You hear a loud what did I describe it as? A loud boom. You would recognize it more or less. It's not a completely uncommon sound. It sounded like something breaking the sound barrier, like a sonic boom. It's a pretty generic sound, but it's recognizable. It's coming from somewhere above you. And that's Eddie seems to just still be on his radio. He's not making any attempts to get further away from you from this point. It looks like, well, at least right now.
Right.
It would be you again if you'd like to do whatever.
Okay. Once again, I'm gonna drop my dice.
Yeah, if you like that.
Well, no.
No, not quite. No, you got some good ones at the beginning of the session.
I sure did.
You got some good ones for a
I'm
little
getting
while.
worse.
For a little while there. Okay.
Soon I'm just gonna only roll all sixes, never be able to do anything well.
Okay.
Great.
So you do see. So a good after as you continue forward, you get within 30 meters of him, and you can hear above you now. You can hear a kind of a loud whistling sound, like something dropping fast. But yeah, that's this turn. It'd be you again. You can attempt to take note of any of these things if you'd like, or you can just continue.
Can I look up?
Yeah, you can attempt.
Oh right, I forgot. I can't just look up.
Yeah, you certainly can.
Wow, I sure can look up.
That's a 5, isn't it?
That is a 5.
Yeah, no, you can look up. Okay, so you look up. You can the first thing you notice is that it's significantly darker. So you notice before it was already a little bit darker than you were used to on the planet due to the purple mist. It obscured the sunlight, not entirely. Like obviously it was still shining through. This planet wasn't just in total darkness, but it was more of just kind of like the purple tint, because you remember when you were alone without lighting in space, it was just kind of innately illuminating. It was kind of glowing. So it's kind of that mixed with the sunlight. It was kind of a purple glow. But as you look up now, the mist you see doesn't appear to be as purple anymore. When you look up, you see what looks like not the entire sky. You can still see on some of the fringes what looks like the purple you saw before. But when you look up now, it looks like what fills the majority of your vision is a large black kind of purple fog, kind of smoke cloud almost. And you can see there's a small kind of hole in it, like a hole like you'd see when like a ship or something passes through a cloud, like something like that. And you can see immediately what looks like a small drop pod, kind of like a capsule, kind of coming down near this area. It looks like it'll probably come down in the next second or two, in pretty close to your vicinity. You can't make out an exact drop point, but like it's gonna be close.
Right.
But yeah, those are the two things you notice. It's darker. There's a large kind of black fog, smoke cloud, kind of obscuring most of the light, and you can see a drop pod coming down.
Okay. Well, that's good to know.
All right. It is. You can see Eddie kind of puts his hand down from the thing, and you can see he puts up his hand again. You can see there's like a fire thing. It looks like he's charging something. That's all he does this turn. You're a good 30 meters away. You're gonna have to make another roll to not get closer if you'd like.
That. I will. I would like to. That's 10, 11, 12. So no.
No, not quite. That's right on your regular will. Yeah. So you're able to slow it down a little bit, but not stop it. So you get closer. You probably get within you're within 20 meters now. Eddie's not saying anything anymore. He seems like he understands. Like he looks apologetic, kind of. I can't think of another word for it. Like he's gonna do what he has to do, but he's not like happy about it.
I understand.
Like he understands that you don't have control right now, though. You can tell that.
Right. He's not blaming me.
Yeah, no, he's not blaming you. Obviously, you can tell that from like the first time when he said what he said. But yeah. So that's what happens there. It looks like he doesn't do anything this turn. It looks like he's still charging whatever it is he's about to do. Right. And it is your turn again.
Okay, I will once again attempt to not do anything.
Not bad.
That's not bad. It's That's 8 again. So that's success by 4.
Success by 4. Nice. Yeah, that is enough. So you're just gonna stop running.
Yes.
Okay, so you stop running. Yeah, that's what you do. This thing. Right as you stop running, you kind of like just dig your heels into the ground and just stop. It's kind of icy, kind of snowy. You kind of slide a little bit to a halt, but you definitely stop. Right as you come to a halt, I'm gonna need you to make a DX roll.
That's just not okay. 3.
That looks like a success.
8, 9, 10. That's a straight on.
Right on. Nice. So you make a success. So right as you slide to a halt, you hear an incredibly loud bang as this capsule comes crashing down into the ground right between you and Eddie. It looks like right where you would have been if you'd kept running.
Oh yikes!
So it's you slide to a halt, and this thing comes right down where you would have been, and it's just like the ground just shakes, and you manage to keep on your feet. You don't fall to the ground, but it kind of shakes. You can hear kind of like a loud cracking sound, like maybe like ice or something as it hits the ground, but you're not sure what that is. The pod's door kind of flips open up. You can tell this is a single person pod. This obviously isn't a shuttle. This is just for dropping. It's not like it's reusable in the fact that you could put it back in a ship, but like it couldn't get back into orbit or anything.
Right.
But it kind of opens up, and you can see a figure inside. He begins to take a step out, and that's all he can do in the time that's allotted to him in this turn. But yeah, he comes to take a step out. He's dressed in. He has a leather jacket. He's got shorter black hair, just kind of like regularly, a pretty generic kind of cut. He's wearing sunglasses, and he has kind of like jeans and a tank top kind of shirt on, and yeah, he kind of steps.
Cool guy. Falls from the sky wearing that. Like,
I mean, he was in a pod. He doesn't need to have a spacesuit.
I know, but still.
Yeah,
it's a wonderful visual.
Oh yeah, he takes a step out, and he does manage to take a step out, and it looks like he gets into kind of like a fighting stance, and it is you again, and he is directly in your way.
All right,
to Eddie.
I will say to him, I might attack you, but I really don't want to. I apologize, and I'm gonna try not to attack him.
Yeah, after you said, he just says, "I've been informed of the situation."
Take it. Hey, that's not bad. That's 4, 5, 6, 7.
That's a success by at least
5.
5. Nice.
Better than 4.
Now you're getting some goodwill rolls.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So are you just gonna keep standing?
Yeah, I'm just gonna keep standing.
Okay. Yeah. You keep standing in place. Yeah. So you manage to keep standing in place. It looks like right after he steps out, it looks like the pod kind of you hear what sounds like water bubbling. You know, like when there's something with air bubbles trapped in it, how after it goes under the surface, you'll kind of get that kind of like that torrid water effect.
Right.
I don't know if that's the right word. Torrid? No. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can see the pod kind of sinks down. You can hear some more cracking sound. It sounds almost like ice.
So it was very warm on its descent.
Almost, yeah, or something like that. And
like that.
yeah, and you can just see the pod kind of sinks down into the ground, and you can see like there's some water bubbling up out of there. So it looks like maybe this was like a layer of permafrost or something, and it just kind of cracked through, and it's sinking down into it.
Interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, but the figure steps forward. The other one, Eddie is kind of out of your sight now. The pod did come down right between you. Like you know where he was, but he's not directly in your line of sight anymore. And you can see the figure just says, "Sorry about this, kid." And you can see he reels back for a punch, and he's gonna throw one at you.
All right.
Okay, yeah, he is gonna hit. You don't. If you want to not defend, you can make a will roll, but otherwise,
I'll try to not defend.
Okay.
Might as well. Let the man do his job. Hey,
that is good enough.
That's the same roll.
That is the same roll. It's success by 5. That's really good.
Yeah.
You're getting some good rolls as well.
I am.
Okay, mixed with some very bad rolls.
That's true.
Yeah. So he comes back for a punch, and like you feel the really strong impulse to either move out of the way or to pull your arm up or something, but you just kind of close your eyes and you're like, nope, we're gonna let this happen. Yeah, and you feel just this punch strike you right in the middle of the chest. And okay. Take 8 damage for me.
That's okay. Then that's me down to 0.
Okay, roll to be conscious.
Can I intentionally fail?
Unfortunately, no.
Okay.
You can't just choose to be unconscious.
That's fair.
That's a success, I think.
Success, yeah.
What's your HT? 10?
10.
Okay, that's a success by 2. Okay, yeah. So no, yeah. So it hits you pretty hard. Yeah, you can You can I can say you can easily tell like that broke a rib at least.
Oh, good.
Like that hurt, and you get launched back like a yard or two. Make a DX roll if you want to be on your feet.
I might as well. No.
No, okay. So yeah, you fly back and you just kind of like hit the ground on your back and you slide a little bit. You can tell the ground definitely is icy. Like maybe it's a layer of ice, but like that pod just cracked that area. It's in no danger of like sending you all to an icy grave.
It'd be nice.
Yeah. But yeah, so you're lying on the ground now. Make a will roll if you want to do anything other than lie on the ground. Or wait, no, sorry. Make a will roll if you want to remain lying on the ground. I phrased that wrong.
I would like to stand up.
Okay. You don't need to make a will roll. That's all you'll really be able to do this turn. Yeah. So you feel you kind of get to your feet. You hop to your feet, and you get to your feet, and you kind of assume a fighting stance, but you're definitely not going to be able to throw any kind of attack this turn.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Yeah, and you do notice it's getting darker progressively, which is, I mean, you haven't been here before, so maybe it's not unusual, but like it's weird. It's odd. It's pretty quick for it to just be getting dark. Okay, yes. Yeah, you just see the figure says, "Ooh, pretty sturdy, huh?"
Not as sturdy as I might like.
We'll get you medical help after. Don't worry. Yeah, it definitely hurt. That one hurt. That one didn't hit you in the arm. That one hit you. That one hit you square in the chest.
Yeah, that was all me.
That was all you. Luckily, this armor seems to have like kind of trauma plating that portion, so it took a good brunt of it, but like definitely not enough.
Could have been worse.
Definitely could have been worse.
Definitely could have been better.
Okay, yeah, it looks like this time it kind of he kind of does. Ooh, what is that? Okay, yeah, he does. It looks like he does a. In the rule terms, he does a deceptive attack, so it looks like he comes in for a few things. He does like some weird flips, and it looks like he's about to punch you, but then he like turns around and he comes in for a kick. If you'd like to not defend, make a will roll, but
Failed that.
No, definitely not. Okay. Oh yeah, you're gonna defend. Okay. So yeah, so he kind of comes in for this, and it looks like. You definitely didn't know what he was doing, so you're not sure how you blocked it, but like you just feel an impulse and your arm just kind of comes up, and it looks like he comes in, he spins around, he comes in for a punch, and then he stops in really fast and he turns around and does like a roundhouse kind of kick. Your arm comes up and your hand just kind of catches his foot, and you see right as you make contact with each other, you can see that actually I need to make a perception roll first. You can see one thing, I'm not sure if you can see the other. Okay, yes, you can see both. You can see right as you make contact with each other, you can see on the back of the purple hand that kind of sigil you saw before when you first touched the thing kind of lights up in a really bright manner. And your arm, this is the first thing you felt from this hand. It kind of burns a little bit, not like in a strong way, kind of not like in a pain way, but in a kind of like a I can't think of a good approximation. Like, I know. When your arm's like asleep and you're trying to wake it up and it hurts to move, like in that kind of way. And you can see simultaneously at the same time, you can see on his hand, on the back of his palm, a different sigil appears. And you hear he goes, "What the hell?" Okay. And he goes, "Eddie!" Okay.
Oh no.
Okay. Okay. And it is you again.
Okay.
Make a little will roll not to attack him.
Do that. Yep.
Is that enough?
1, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Ooh, no. Not quite. That's a success by 2, which isn't quite enough. I have to say, with the -4, at least you've been doing quite well. You have been getting surprising amount of personal actions.
I sure have.
Yeah. So your hand was his foot was already here in your hand, and you just feel your fist close around his. I mean, remember both your hands are still together, so it's kind of awkward. You are kind of slowing it down, but you feel the stronger hand close against his foot.
Sorry.
Not like in a crushing manner or like in a grapple manner, but you feel your arms pull back and you just chuck him.
Oh no.
And he just kind of goes flying back.
Buddy.
And you can see the pod has sunk down enough that you can see Eddie is there. Eddie, it looks like after he heard the ice crack and saw the thing, Eddie kind of like looked at his fire thing and he was like, maybe this isn't a good idea. And he stopped charging. But you are sending this guy flying straight into Eddie.
Oh no!
So Eddie's gonna try to catch him,
but he
might not.
This is gonna be interesting.
Okay, Eddie has caught him.
Hey.
Eddie isn't that strong, so we'll see if he can actually like not also be flung back. Not quite. Okay, so Eddie manages to stay on his feet, but Eddie looks like he just stopped charging something, and he looks up. He's like, "Oh no!" This guy's flying at him, and he puts up both his hands, and he kind of like he braces for it, and it looks like he stops him more or less, like, but he stays on his feet. But you can see they just kind of get like both like boom, like kind of slid back on the ice.
Yeah.
And the other guy manages to land on his feet, but like they're a little ways away from you, and okay, yeah, and you can maybe you can hear this. Let's see. Yeah, you can. You just see this figure turn to Eddie, and he says, "You told me he was touched. You didn't tell me he was chosen." And Eddie says, "What the hell do you mean he's chosen?" Okay.
Oh no.
And he says he's got the sigil.
It gets worse.
Okay. And he just goes, "Oh, that's not good."
I shouldn't have touched the thing.
Okay, yeah, and you do see this figure does take another. He starts running towards you again. It looks like he will actually somehow make it to you this turn. It looks like he's going to take like a running kick. Would you like to defend? If not,
I would
make a
like
will.
to attempt not to defend.
Okay, make a will. Ooh,
5, 6, 7, 8. So
that's enough.
Yeah.
All right, so you don't have to defend. You wouldn't like to?
I would not like to.
Okay. So this guy, he comes forward, and he does a running kick, basically, like a. This isn't like a cheesy kung fu kick. This is more of like a drop kick. Like he's gonna like hit you.
Right.
And he comes in, and once again you feel your arm try to defend, but you're like, no, we're gonna let this happen. And you can see it does look like this time he aims like entirely for the arm.
Okay.
And he comes in and he lands a kick right at your shoulder, right where the purple kind of connects with your actual body.
Yes.
And he hits right there. And let's see. I'm gonna need you to make an HT roll for me.
Can't do that.
What's that?
No, that's a 11, 12, 13.
13.
Oh,
Okay, yeah.
3.
So you feel it strikes right there, and you feel first take 2 damage for me.
I can do that. What I gotta pull?
Okay, and you hear this kind of unnatural tearing sound, like not like flesh or bone or anything weird. It sounds more like Velcro than anything, like that kind of noise. And you do feel kind of like this arm kind of come off almost of you, and you feel as soon as it stops, the purple stops making contact with your flesh there, the arm just disappears. Like it kind of disappears into this kind of cloud of vapor, and the arm is gone now.
Huh.
And I do need you to make one more will roll and one more HT roll.
Right. Okay. Will. That's 5.
Was that a success on will?
9. No, that's it would have been success by 3, but I don't think that's enough.
Okay, no, you're good. But
Okay.
make an HT roll.
And then the HT. Oh, that's really good. That's 2. 5. So
Okay, 5.
Success by 5.
Okay, no, the will roll is pretty good. So you're kind of lying on the ground. You're definitely conscious. You can't quite move. It kind of feels like you're just like in a paralyzed state almost. Like you're definitely all right. You're gonna be okay. But like right now you're just kind of like, oh god, I can't move. Everything hurts. Yeah. So you can see this figure kind of walks over to you, and he taps you with his foot. He taps you with his foot, and like once he sees that you're not obviously still like involuntarily hostile, he kind of stoops down and he kind of gets you into like not a fireman's carry, but just over one shoulder.
Right.
And yeah, he picks you up pretty easily, it looks like. And like you're right as that happens, you kind of see you do see this actually. It was before he was kind of in your way, and the way the fight happened, it kind of turned you in a direction where you weren't seeing Eddie anymore for a second after you saw that right after he caught him and the guy jumped at him, you kind of were obscured from him. Right as he picks you up, you're facing that direction again. And you see Eddie you see Eddie and another figure with their back turned to you. And you can see that this figure has their hand over Eddie's face, and they've kind of lifted him up into the air. And it looks like Eddie has both his hands on their arm, and it looks like you can almost hear like muffled sounds like
right.
speaking. And after a moment, Eddie is just dropped to the ground and he's unconscious, and you can see this other figure there.
Can I speak?
You can try.
Okay, I would like to try and bring to the attention of the person carrying me that there's stuff going on behind him.
Okay. You try to speak. You start to say these words, and you kind of, nothing really comes out. You kind of get out this raspy kind of sound. You're making noise. You're not able to fully make words, but it seems like the guy kind of gets the idea that you were trying to say something. And he does. It looks he was like almost turned around anyway, and it looks like he turns around. And as he turns around, you kind of lose sight of this as he spins you around, and you're facing the other way now. But you can feel, he doesn't say anything, but you're this close to him and he's holding you, you can feel just like all the muscles in his body just kind of tense up. Like, you're not sure if this is like a fear response or like oh, we're gonna fight now thing, but like he's definitely, all the muscles in his body are just suddenly very tense. And okay, all right, yeah. And you can see it is almost suddenly. It happens pretty suddenly. Right this second. It does seem like it was getting gradually darker and darker. Like, it wasn't too dark to see. It was just kind of like, oh, the light's dimming, like almost sunset kind of light levels. And all of a sudden, just like bam, like it's almost pitch black.
Ooh. Yikes.
And so like you can still see a little, but like it's almost total darkness all of a sudden, like new moon levels of dark. And yeah, and this figure runs in the direction that when you were facing a second ago when you saw the figure. And you can't really see anything that's happening, but you feel kind of like you feel some quick movements. You're not sure what it is. It's he either made like a dodge or an attack or something, but it was some quick successive movements. And you can't really turn your head or anything. You're you're still in a more or less paralyzed state.
Right.
You can see, but that's more or less the extent of what you can do in this thing. You can feel the figure kind of stoop down, and you can see in the very corner of your peripheral, you think he has Eddie over his other shoulder.
Oh.
And this figure who picked you up, who's picked both of you up, is now just kind of taking off in a dash. And you can see as you run past, you can see that the figure you saw who was holding Eddie up is now, it looks like the other guy who picked you up ran past him, it appears. And my throat. Sorry. Ran past him. And sorry, I stopped talking and I lost my train of thought. Ran past him. Yes, sorry. Ran past him, and now you can see him because you're once again facing him as you're facing the opposite direction of the figure who picked you up. And as you run past, you can see that this figure is entirely cloaked and masked, but you do now recognize it. You didn't recognize it from behind. You can see that is the uniform of Corthol's Harbinger. Harbinger. No, Harbinger is right.
Harbinger.
Every time I say that word, I'm like, which one is it? I know it's Harbinger.
Yeah.
But it's spelled Harbinger.
It sure is. All right.
So yeah, I mean, you can't tell who's in it, but the last time you saw that uniform, it was on the ship with Joe.
Sure was. Everyone else was dead.
That is correct.
Well, that's fun.
Eddie does appear to be unconscious.
Man, I wish I was unconscious.
Do you?
No.
Okay. You sure would be missing a lot.
I sure would.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
You do kind of feel it. This does actually, after a second, you can feel like kind of like the adrenaline and everything wears off, and you can feel being carried like this definitely hurts a lot. Like he's holding you with kind of like your torso over his shoulder, and like you definitely still have those broken ribs.
Yeah.
And you just kind of feel them scraping against like your insides as you run along. Like it's probably not good for you.
Probably not.
But yeah, you see the figure kind of after you feel the guy run for a little bit, and the figure is kind of watching you. It has a full mask and a cloak and everything. You can only make out things from body language, and even then most of it's covered. You can't make out any facial expression. But after a moment, it looks like the figure's just kind of been standing, not completely still, but in a way that's like you would assume they're thinking, but since you can't really see their face, they're very motionless. It's kind of eerie.
Right.
And after a second, they kind of raise their hand forward towards you guys. And this person fires a jet of fire.
Oh, that's not ideal.
Okay. Yeah. So, you're not in control of this. Let's see. The figure is gonna try to dodge. The one who's running. Yeah. Okay. It looks like. Actually, can you take 2 burning damage for me?
I can't take 2 burning damage. -4.
Yeah. The figure kind of tries to keep running, but they kind of try to duck out of the way of it. It's close enough that definitely all 3 of you still get singed by it. You didn't take the brunt, but like he avoided the direct hit, but not the AoE part. It looks like, and you can see right in front of you. It looks like maybe the figure wasn't even aiming for you, because right in front of you, you can see this bolt of fire strikes down into the ground, and you hear a really loud cracking, just like cracking in the ice all around you, and you see this large hole forms in the ice. Sorry, you can hear it. You can see the cracks go past. You're facing the other way. But I mean, based on the fire you saw earlier and the crack you saw in the pod, you can just hear this large hole form in the ice. And you feel the figure who's holding you jump. And then a second later, you feel cold, icy water engulf your body. Make another HT roll for me.
That's bad. I knew this was gonna happen. I rolled that. That's bad. That's failure by 4.
Okay. Yeah. As you jump into the air and you feel crash down, you hear a splash, and a moment later, cold, icy water engulfs your body. As you sink down to the depths, you're still completely paralyzed. You're unable to swim. You're unable to control your actions. You feel cold water start to seep into your lungs through your mouth and your nostrils, and you kind of feel it scrape against and kind of flow into your body through where like your ribs have punctured your lungs. And you just kind of feel it seep into your wounds. You can tell it's salt water. It's burning against some of your cuts and things like that. And after a moment, you just kind of you try to hold on, but you just lose consciousness. And yeah, you are unconscious. What would you like to know?
I'd like to sleep.
Actually, okay, let's see. So, all right. Whoa. Okay, that's interesting. Let me check a table. That's not happened before. How you feeling? While I find this table, how you feeling?
I'm worried.
That's fair. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you think you've awoken. You feel really groggy, kind of in a trance-like state. Like you feel like you just took like a ton of cold medicine or painkillers or something. You're really groggy. You're just a little bit out of it. Everything's a little bit fuzzy, and lights are a little bit too bright. They hurt. You feel like you're in this completely white room. It's just blindingly white. And at the far end, you can see what looks like almost not quite a doorway, but more of an arch kind of. And you can't quite see through it. You look into the arch, and it just seems like this kind of. The room you're in is already white, but somehow it seems almost brighter through this archway, and that's all you can really make out.
So, what position am I in? Am I like
you're standing up.
So I woke up standing up.
Correct.
For those of you who can't see, I did quotation marks around woke up.
I think it was blind.
Probably, but I realized this is not a visual show.
Maybe someday. I tried to move my furniture to make a space for it. It didn't work.
You don't need visuals. You don't need to see us sitting in front of our laptops staring at the screens. Like, you can envision.
Maybe they do.
Maybe they do.
All right.
But not today. I'm going to... Can I want to, touch one of the walls to see if I can, tell what it's made
Okay.
of.
You can try. You'd like to try to do that?
Yeah.
Okay, so you step towards what you think to be the walls, and as you step forward to reach out, you reach out and you don't make contact with anything. And as you continue to step forward and continue reaching, you can tell that there's just you're not touching anything. There's no walls. It's just a large white void.
Ah. That's so it's a large white void, but there's also an archway.
You do see an archway.
So in moving,
The archway has moved away from you,
okay,
or to the side of you, depending on which way you moved.
laterally or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah. Okay. So there is space, and there's specific points that stay.
It would appear.
Which is helpful for my human brain. Okay, then there being no other landmarks, I will move towards the arch.
Okay. So you move towards the arch. Okay. So how close would you like to get?
I would like to get within like
Touching distance.
not quite touching distance, like close enough that I can like see more of what's through it.
Okay.
Probably like 10 feet away.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so you get within like 10 feet of it. The closer you get, the larger you realize it is. You kind of walk. You thought it was pretty close, but as you get closer to it, you realize it's actually just quite large.
Oh.
It's not terribly far away, but it's further than you thought. And as you get closer and closer, it looks like you get within 10 feet, and you can tell. You thought this was like a regular like person-sized doorway. You can tell it's actually maybe like 15-ish feet tall. 15-ish feet tall, 10 feet wide. So it's pretty large. It's not massive, but it's large. And as you look in, you can see it's not quite brighter. You realize as you look in, it's just kind of, it's a different type of lighting, kind of like, not literally in this sense, but the sense that's like, oh, there's a difference between fluorescent and LED. Like the coloration is different, but they're both just like so bright. It's kind of hard to tell until you got this close.
Right.
And as you look in, can you make a will roll for me?
I can. Hey, that's 12, so that'd be just on.
Just on. Okay, that's good. Okay, so as you look in, you kind of see, for a brief moment, you see a flash of yourself in the same pose, like almost like a mirror. Well, not almost exactly like a mirror. You can see this flash of yourself in the same pose, and at that same moment, you realize that in this instance, you have both of your arms. In this instance, you can tell that your ribs are unbroken. You're wearing a different garb than you were wearing before. You're wearing kind of like, not quite a robe, but this kind of white flowing material. It's very soft, almost silken. You can't quite tell what it's actually made of, but it's odd. It's not a material you felt before, but it's very comfortable, and it's white and silken and flowing.
Interesting.
And in that moment, you see this flash of yourself kind of at the end, and you're not sure if you were standing at the edge of the arch before, but suddenly you are. And you can see in this reflection at the very edge of the arch, and that reflection remains. And if you move around at all, you can see that it hasn't continued to reflect you. It captured like a moment, and it's retained there. And very slowly, you see going from there onward, you see yourself on this edge, and you see another figure and another figure and another figure, kind of going from right to left, or no, yeah, that's correct. From right to left, you're on the far right of the arch, and you see these figures appearing inside the arch, to left, to left, to left, and you see a total of 14 other figures until the arch completely fills out. And they're all wearing the same kind of garb that you're wearing right now. You don't recognize any of them, but they're all definitely different, distinct figures. And you can tell, one thing you can tell is that you're the only one that's human of these figures.
Interesting.
And that's all that really happens. You can see these are all just, they're three-dimensional in the fact that if you like move your head around, you can make out different angles and things.
Right.
But this is definitely a static image, if that makes sense. Like they're not moving.
Right.
And that's what you see in front of you.
The captured version of
Yeah.
Interesting. Can I? So I'm like right at the arch now.
Oh no, you're still 10 feet away from it, but you just moved to the side.
Okay. I would like. Hold on, let me write. I need to note things. 14 figures.
A dice cam could be fun. I can probably figure out a way to set up. I'll just have to.
Yeah.
Right now, we're definitely rolling on records that I set on a coffee table.
Yeah, we just have to.
But like, it would be not too hard to just make a space for it. Yeah. That might not be a bad idea. Thank you.
Jury rig a little area.
Yeah. Sorry. What were you saying though?
Oh. Okay. Yeah. So I would like to move closer now.
Okay.
And just kind of like, I don't know, gauge that like. I don't really know.
What would you like to get? I'm sorry, how close?
Like right up to the arch.
Right up to it. Okay. Would you like to touch it or just close enough that you could?
Yeah, just close enough that I could.
Okay. You get right up to it, and you can almost hear something. It feels kind of like I'm trying to think of how to describe this. it's not quite a whisper. It's like imagine you could hear an echo, but it's not making any sound. It's just you can hear just the echo, but it's not echoing anything. It's a very strange sound. You almost can't comprehend it.
Okay.
It's like an echo of nothing.
I see. I get what you're saying. Cool.
And you can see as you got closer, you did get closer to the figures. None of them got closer to you. They are staying static, but you have actually moved closer to them.
Okay. That is.
And as you get this close, actually, you can tell. As you get this close, actually, you can tell there's kind of it's not quite just a clear walkway through. You can tell there's a very you couldn't tell before because it's very calm, but there's almost like this fluid kind of coating here, kind of like it's moving in a way not like water, in a very interesting kind of like mercury. It's almost reflective. Like you're definitely seeing through it, but it almost looks like a reflection in how it's kind of the surface is kind of rippling, but it's for the most part very calm.
Right.
But kind of this mercurial substance.
So it's like moving, but not like rippling.
Yeah.
It's just kind of
passively kind of like
flowing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do I have any like objects on me, or is it just the
you
clothing?
haven't checked?
You
would like to check?
I would like to check.
Okay. It's a possibility. Okay. So you kind of pat around your body, seeing if this garb has any pockets or anything. You find the most you find is a small pin-like object. It's kind of like it looks like it has there's a symbol you're not familiar with this symbol.
Right.
You can put it, obviously a photograph remember. You'll remember what it looks like,
Right.
but it's almost like it's vaguely ooh crap, what's the word? I'll just say fungal. What's the word for the person who studies mushrooms? My college. No. Yeah, you know what I mean though.
Yeah.
It's vaguely fungal in shape, but it also has a kind of it feels like it has a dimension you can't see to it. It's kind of this golden it's this golden color in this vaguely toadstool type shape, and it has this large protruding pin. It's more of a needle than a not more of a needle than a pin. It's more of this long protruding. It comes to a point, but it's definitely thicker, like the thickness of like a larger knitting needle.
Right.
And it's probably about what's that like 5 or 6 inches in length.
Yeah.
And that's all you seem to have on you.
Interesting.
And it's kind of the head of it that's not the sharp end is kind of gold, and the rest of it it's kind of this platinum color.
Okay. Gold head. Platinum. I'm just gonna say knitting needle.
I mean, you can, yeah. That's what it looks like.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I am going to hold it by the head.
Okay.
And use the pointy bit to not like try to pierce, just kind of like touch the surface.
Okay, to touch the surface. Okay, yeah.
Thing.
Yeah, certainly you can do that. Make a DX roll for me, just because that's a very kind of finesse kind of action. Oh, it's not so bad. This wasn't like a terribly difficult thing.
Yeah.
That's not fantastic. Like you were a little more aggressive than you meant to be, but not terribly so.
We'll appreciate 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
It's a good roll.
That is a good roll. Yeah. It's just that was a very finesse action.
Right.
It took a lot of control, and you didn't. You're still a little bit woozy. So you did it a little more forcefully than you intended. So you kind of reach out with this thing, and you try to just tap the surface, and you can feel you do very very lightly accidentally pierce it. Just you see like the very tip go through, and as that happens, you kind of see right where it pierces this kind of. You can tell it was kind of this kind of liquid fluid like substance, and it was very clear. And right as it pierces, you see this kind of purple, kind of like how when blood goes into water, how it just clouds a little bit. It's not enough to obscure the vision, but just from this center point out, you see this kind of light purple cloud of kind of like that fluid. Oh, not necessarily fluid, but that kind of misty. What it does to the fluid, kind of go out a little bit. It doesn't cover the whole thing, but just this area has kind of been a little bit less clear. There's this purple tint to it where where it's still kind of concentrated. You can see there's still those like streams of it.
I'm gonna pull it out.
Okay, you pull it out. Those remain, but it hasn't gotten any worse, and it's definitely not covering the whole thing. Just this immediate area where you touched it with that.
Interesting. Can I go around to the other side of the arch? Like not through it, but
Yeah, I understand.
Around.
Yeah, you can attempt to.
I would like to attempt to do that.
Okay, so you walk around to the other side, and can you make another will roll for me?
Yes.
Not bad.
That's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
Six, failure by one.
Yeah.
Okay, failure by one. That's not so bad. So as you walk around to the other side of this arch, you kind of see as you walk around to the other side.
Mhm.
So it's a little bit. It looks like it's a little bit more difficult to the other side than you'd want. Not like it's impossible, but it feels like as you walk laterally to try to go around, it kind of feels like the arch almost follows you for a ways,
Right.
and then it kind of stops. It's like, oh, it may like almost it's like it's trying to follow you, and then it senses almost what you're trying to do.
Right.
And as you walk around to the other side, where on the side you were on before, you got the sense that it was brighter in a different way than the room you were currently in. This one you can tell is much darker. It's not pure black,
Right.
but you can tell it's definitely a much dimmer lighting. Like you can see, actually a pretty good approximation is like it's almost all dark, and you can see like in the distance kind of like a single spotlight, like what you generically see for like when you're those cheesy interrogation rooms, that kind of lighting effect.
Right. Does this side also have the like substance over it?
The substance, no.
Oh, interesting.
Or if it does, it's too dark to
Right.
discern. If it does.
Okay, so I would like to take the pin again and do the kind of the same thing.
Okay, with the same side.
Yeah, with the same side.
Okay. So would you like to do it just as carefully, or
Yeah.
okay? Can you make one more DX roll for me then?
Because if I fail, it's not a big deal. That's actually really good. That's 6, 7. So success by 3.
3. Okay, that's not bad. Yeah, you definitely do it as carefully as you meant to this time. So you kind of as you reach forward again, and as you touch you do just touch it against this time. You definitely don't pierce. You kind of see this. I'm trying to think of how to describe it. You touch, and would you like to pull back away or just keep it there? Actually,
I'll leave it there for now.
Okay, you leave it there for now. You kind of touch right there, and as you leave it there for a moment, you kind of see from the epicenter, it's different than last time, where last time it kind of felt like there was a fluid flowing out of it. This time you see little kind of dots, kind of specks appear nearby in a brighter kind of, not quite white, but a brighter color. You can't quite discern if it's a specific color. Like it's like there's a really high saturation level. Like it might be a color, might not be. It kind of looks, the best way you can describe it is kind of like as if there was like on a screen when there's like dead pixels, or kind of like when you see floaters in the corners of your vision.
Right.
That's kind of what it looks like here.
Okay, so then I will pull it.
And you don't see if I didn't say you don't, if you did, sorry, you didn't ask, I forgot to say, you don't see the figures on this side of it.
Right. Okay. So I will pull it back then. Interesting. So, and this is the only like, do I see anything like beyond this, like turning to look the way I was looking originally, away from the arch?
You mean past the arch? No, it appears to just be more of the white. On this side, it looks a lot more. It's still white, but it's more faded, kind of not in like a beige kind of way, just in a kind of like in a dilapidated kind of way.
Right.
It just feels different.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, so you have this arch
Mm-hmm.
in a white void.
Yes.
Hold on. Amend some things.
Go for it. Write down your little
side.
notes.
Bright light.
And you do just notice, as kind of like you look around, you were just looking at the thing before. As you look around this time, you didn't notice immediately, but you can tell that when you look down this time you don't have your regular arm. This time the purple arm is back on this side, which is odd. You didn't see any moment when they clearly swapped over, but it happened at some point.
Okay. All right. That's good to know. Okay, so pin thing. That's its own thing. Give some separation. And this is thrilling content, I know, but
yeah, it's fine. You got to look through your notes. Decide your next course of action.
yeah, I'm also recording it.
Oh no, you're fine. Don't worry about it.
Inserted.
Bum, 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 bum.
Purple text.
How full is your little notebook now?
I'm.
I mean, I know you still have plenty of pages. I was
1,
just
2,
not bad.
4, 5, 6. This is my 7th, and I'm going to be going on to an 8th.
Ooh, exciting. Just, I mean, also just, you do have photograph from memory, so if you ever need anything, I can remind you.
I know, it's just.
Oh, no, I know you like to write it down. I'm just making sure, like,
Yeah,
so you don't have to worry about forgetting something.
That's why I'm not like writing down like your specific descriptions of like the.
Yeah.
I'm just like generally.
Yeah, no problem.
Purple mist. Yep. Okay. Other side.
Other side is a little different, yeah.
Is sad.
That's how I'm describing it.
No, that's a way to describe it. Yeah, that works.
In arch. Darkness.
Darkness.
1.
The way you said darkness made me think of Kingdom Hearts, and I got angry again.
Ooh, yikes!
Hate-
Yeah,
hate-
that
Anyway, sorry.
that is deserving.
I'm not going to start ranting about how much I hate Kingdom Hearts now,
And
as we lose all our subscribers.
in dead pixels. Purple.
Mm-hmm.
And on this side, normal.
Normal.
14 figures. Okay.
All right, you got it?
Yeah.
Nice.
Um.
Alrighty, yes.
So, do I have control over the
Yeah.
purple arm? So
Yeah,
I can,
yeah,
like, hold it up and move it. And...
Mm-hmm. It appears to just be under your control moving normally.
Interesting, and it's not giving me any impulses at the moment.
Not in a moment, no.
Interesting. Can I touch the arch with my purple arm?
Oh, yeah, sure. Okay. So, as you reach forward to touch the surface. Yeah, that's correct. So as you reach forward to touch the surface, you kind of, as soon as you make contact with this arm, you kind of feel like you've touched something solid, almost behind the surface. And you can see the sigil once again reappears in the back of your hand. It kind of starts glowing again.
Okay, I'm gonna pull it back.
Okay, and the sigil does fade away again.
Interesting. And then I'm gonna. Okay, I would like to return to the other side.
Okay.
The bright side. If I can.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm gonna do the same thing with the same arm that's now normal, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna touch it.
Okay, so you reach forward and you touch it with your normal arm. As you have a second, I need to clear my throat. Okay. As you reach forward to touch it with your regular arm, you touch the surface again, and this one feels a lot less. This one's less solid. Your hand actually does lightly pass through, kind of like you're going through shallow water.
Right.
And it's a warm kind of temperature, kind of like it's a strange substance, kind of like you're putting your hand through oil, that kind of viscosity. Right. And as your hand goes through, you don't see your hand appear on the other side, where you're seeing the figures, but you do see the figures begin to move. The figures all kind of take a step towards your arm. Would you like to remain where it is, or
Yeah,
okay?
Okay.
So the figures all kind of take a step towards your arm, and they kind of they take another step, and they stop moving probably about how far I am from you, so like 2 or 3 feet. So they're all pretty close. You can make as much as they can. There's about 14 of them, 15 counting yourself, and they're all in a pretty tight circle. They're kind of staggered so that they can all be there. And after a moment, you feel kind of like what feels like hands on your wrist.
Oh,
like grappling against you. Not in an aggressive way. You can tell they're pretty lightly on you, but you can tell they're just kind of like placed there upon your hand. And after a moment, you feel kind of like you're being not like dragged, but coerced, kind of
like,
pulled forward,
like let in,
like coerced. Yeah, like they're not going to drag you in, but it kind of feels like they're lightly pulling on you, like come forward.
All right. I'm trying to think if I have anything else I want to do with it. So
All
the
right.
other side was solid,
Yes.
but it made my sigil purple glow.
Yes.
I didn't press on it. Could have done that. But I think my curiosity lends me to moving into this.
Okay.
To letting them pull me through.
Okay. So you get okay. Yeah. And make one more will and HT roll for me as you pass through.
You got it. All right. Will. Not bad. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's a success by 2 on the will.
Okay. Success by 2 on will.
Yeah. Okay. That's fail by 4 on the HT.
Fail by 4 on HT. Okay, that's not so bad. So yeah, so your will is fine though. So okay, yeah. So as you pass through, you kind of feel that feeling go through your whole body as you pass through. It kind of feels like once again you feel that kind of not quite pain, but that kind of like oh my limb, like the tingly when my limbs are asleep and I move them. It kind of travels through your body as more of you go through, and as you finally get through, your head's like one of the last things probably, just because that's kind of human impulse. Keep your head above water as long as you can.
Yeah.
And as your head goes through, you suddenly feel you get a really strong impulse, like one you can't control, and you just take a gasp of air, and your eyes kind of shoot open. You realize your eyes were closed, and you can see you're lying on a table, and you can see that there's the figure. The figure is above you, and it looks like he just finished kind of like giving you resuscitation. And you just kind of
the one who picked me up.
Yeah, the one who picked you up, not the other one.
Yeah.
You take a gasp of air, and you can tell you're lying on a table somewhere, and you can see you're in this room, and you can see there's Eddie on another table nearby.
All right. What happened after the water?
Oh, I mean, first of all, the figure's like, okay, you're awake.
Right.
All right. I'm glad you made it through.
Me as well.
All right. Well, we all kind of sank there. Current must have pulled us along. We all got knocked out. When I came to, we were on the shoreline. We must have gotten pulled to under the ice. I'm not quite sure how we didn't die of hypothermia, in all honesty. But you and Eddie were both out. I took you back to my ship. And you've been out for a few days. I put you in the resuscitation pod, and after that wasn't working, took you out again and tried a few other things. You finally came to. Eddie's still out.
That's not good. I appreciate the medical attention. Can I look? Is my arm gone again?
Yes, but there's in the fact that you can tell that there is now a kind of I don't know what to call it. There's a attachment, kind of like a port. It looks like you've been given a port for like either a prosthetic or a cybernetic arm on that in that place where your arm was missing before.
Okay.
Which is new, but
but it's
not bad necessarily.
Right. I'll look down and say, "Oh, did you do that?"
Oh, that was a automatic. One of the ship systems when I put you in the medical thing just did it for you. Sorry about that. We can remove it if you want.
No, it's fine. I don't mind. It's not like there was anything there anyway. Well,
yeah. So he seems very uncomfortable around you. Is the first thing you notice?
That's fair. The first time he met me, I did have a giant purple arm. Well,
yeah, like he definitely knows that you weren't responsible for what happened, but
right.
he's not comfortable around you.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
What the heck is going on? With the arm and the symbols and the one you had, which is different than the one I have. Because we kind of didn't quite get that far before.
I don't really think I'm the one who's supposed to tell you any of that. First of all, I'm not entirely sure myself. I know what I know, which isn't to say the whole story. But I think the Sakamoras probably want to go through that themselves. That's where we're headed. We've left world. Hopefully you didn't leave anything there that you needed.
Just some friends, but they have their own lives. They don't really need me.
I'm sure we can contact your friends later if you need. Hopefully they evacuated world, but
what do you mean?
So the planet, right?
Yeah.
It's been better.
And by better, you mean?
Well, it's not gone. It's just it's gonna be.
I don't know why.
Yeah, I also don't know how I reacted to that. In fairness,
I don't know why I'm laughing.
No, I mean it's kind of a funny thing to say.
It is kind of a funny thing. So you're saying that it's still intact, but it won't be for very long.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much I'm supposed to tell you here is the problem. I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble with the Sakamoras, and that's something I'd rather not have to deal with.
Based on my dealings with them, I strongly agree. Don't tell me anything you don't think I might not be should.
Yeah.
Yeah, just don't. Maybe don't talk to me.
Once Eddie comes to, I'm sure he can fill you in. We should make it to. Well, I can't give you the coordinates, but we'll make it to where we're going in probably another a few days, maybe a week.
Well, how about this? Maybe this is one thing you can tell me. What's your name?
Oh, I'm Jack.
Jack. Nice to meet you. I'm Benjamin.
All right, duly noted. Yeah. Try not to have any rampages on my ship.
I'll do my very best. Probably don't touch me, because that's kind of what started it last time.
All right then. Yeah, I'll just he kind of hands. He doesn't quite hand you because you said that.
Right.
But he kind of sets it on the table and just kind of slides it toward you. You can tell it's a small data pad. You can see it's just kind of like a map of the ship layout, and it has like something that's like marked as like, oh, you can sleep here, and it has like bathroom, kitchen, commons, whatever. He says, here's the layout if you need it. If you're feeling good enough to get out of med bay, then have a little wander around, I guess.
I will do that. I'll gingerly get up.
Yeah. You seem to be in pretty good health.
That's good.
Your HP is back to 9.
That's much better than negative.
Yeah, you can tell that your ribs are no longer puncturing your lungs. All of your injuries have been healed more or less, along with the inclusion of that port for a arm. It looks like. As he said, you can remove it later if you'd like. It was just an automatic thing that happened with the machine.
Right.
But yeah, so you're able to get up. You feel more or less okay, just a little groggy. Like once again, like you've been on medication or something.
Right. That's all right. I would like theoretically.
Yeah.
It's been days since I last consumed anything.
Yeah, I mean, like you're hungry. You're not starving. Obviously, they've been
Yeah.
feeding you or keeping you nourished
nourished.
somehow. But
Probably
you're hungry. Yeah.
pumping me with-
Yeah, you could go to what he said was like the
I'd
kitchen
like
area or
to.
whatever.
Yeah, I'll follow the map to the kitchen.
Okay, you follow the map to the kitchen. You can tell it's pretty. Obviously, this is a spaceship, so it's not going to be like over in abundance of food. But you can tell there's like a small, not quite a replicator, but this kind of thing that would like dispense what's the word I'm looking for? Approximations of food. Like it's probably all the actual same thing, but like it can change the flavor and texture kind of. And on top, other than that, you can see there's some cabinets with like some pretty generic kind of shelf stable type things.
Right. Well, I won't take any of his shelf stable thing.
Okay, so you're just gonna take like
just like a sandwich.
Yeah, okay. You just kind of like punch in like a sandwich. All the things in here are in common.
Yeah.
And he was speaking common, obviously. So yeah, so you just punch in a sandwich and you get it. It's not the greatest. It's like the texture's a little bit off and it doesn't quite taste right, but it's filling.
It's food.
Yeah, it's food.
I'll take it. Then I'll so looking at the map, what are the general like rooms?
And the general rooms it looks like the ship is divided into 3 floors. It's not terribly large, but it's just kind of, it looks like that's how it's partitioned kind of.
Right.
This ship, actually I'll just tell you what the ship is like more or less first. So the ship is vaguely spherical. It's more or less, it's kind of like what's a good description? You know, kind of like how a D20 is shaped, like not actually a dodecahedron, but it's like made of a lot of smaller panels that are flat in that kind of arrangement. And you can tell there's 3 more or less decks. You can tell there's one that's kind of like cabins and crew sleeping areas and things like that. There's one that's like the one you're on, which is the bottom floor, which is like things like, oh, here's the med bay and the food area and the commons and things like that. And then there's the center deck, which is all like the ship important areas, which is like, oh, here's the engine room, here's the reactors and things, here's the cockpit, here's the weapons bay, things like that.
Right.
Is there something you'd specifically like to head to, or
I think I'll just go to a sleeping area and rest.
Okay, so you go to your commons area. You can tell this is kind of actually not commons. Sorry, your what's labeled as your kind of like bunk, your resting area. As you head into that area, you can kind of, as you enter the door, you can tell this isn't quite a personal bunk. This is more of like what you'd imagine is kind of like a military or military-esque ship kind of bunk room. There's like probably about six beds on each wall. It is currently empty other than you. You can tell there's one that's definitely set up to be yours. You're if I didn't say, you're not wearing the armor you were wearing before. You were wearing kind of like not quite a medical smock, but kind of like a robe kind of. It looks like the closest equivalent they had of the kind of thing. It's just a generic white robe.
Yeah.
And you can see there's kind of like your personal effects. What you actually had on you is laid out on one of the beds.
Okay. Then I'll change into what I was wearing.
Okay. You kind of change into that in that kind of armor. You have like your underclothes or underneath. Actually, would you like the armor or just like your underclothes?
I'll just put on my underclothes for now.
Okay.
Because I don't really need the armor.
Yeah, no, that's fair. So yeah, you put on your underclothes. You can see there's all your personal effects along with. It looks like there's a data pad that wasn't yours, but it's laid out here along with your stuff.
All right, I'll take it. It's
Okay.
fine. Never say.
Yeah.
Never looked a gift horse in the mouth.
Yep.
That's the same.
It doesn't look like it's charged, but it's definitely operational. It just doesn't have any power currently.
Well, let's hope I don't crit fail on it.
It's not a radio. Don't worry.
It sure ain't. But
Okay.
That won't stop me.
Did you say you'd just like to rest, or would you like to do something else?
I'll just rest for now.
Okay. So you're just gonna take a little sleep.
Yeah.
Make an HT roll to see if you regain your last HP. Yeah, you do. Okay, heal your last HP. You're back to full. All of your injuries have been healed once again.
Incredible. Actually work this time, please. Technology, gotta love it.
Oh, I do. Okay. And make another will roll for me.
A will roll. Oh, okay. That's fine. That's 10, so that's a success by 2.
6 by 2. Okay, so you open your eyes and you can see you're in this large space again. You can kind of see it feels different this time. You see the arch again, but this time there are definitely definitive walls. Like it's still the same white, but you can see there are definitive walls near you. And it's kind of hard to move. Like you're moving through something thick. Like you're trying to move against the current of like a stream or something. Like you're not being pushed away.
Right.
But it's a little bit difficult to move.
Okay. I think I'll just move towards the
Move towards the arch? Okay. So you move towards the arch again. And this time you move towards the arch again, and this time you can see that there is once you get a certain distance away, you kind of look down and you can see you can't actually see yourself, which is odd. But I mean you can definitely feel you're there. It's just kind of like you're like, huh, that's weird. Like you look down at your hands and you can see you can feel where your hand would be. And like if you like touch yourself, it's like, yeah, I'm here. But you can't visually see yourself.
Right.
And once you get a certain distance away, you're kind of forced to stop. Kind of like you feel like you can make a strength roll if you'd like to fight against it, but you're just kind of like you get a certain point. It's like, okay, I can't move further than this.
I think I'll just accept it.
Okay.
How close was I able to get to the?
You're about 10 feet away.
Okay. So I can see into it.
Yeah.
Do I see anything in it?
Yeah. So you can see out into a really white kind of bright room. This room doesn't have any clear edges or anything, and you can see another figure kind of looking around, kind of walking around. You see they kind of move to the side and they reach their arm out to like touch a wall, and when they don't find one, they keep walking. And after a moment, they come forward, and it looks like they. Yeah, you get what I'm saying. Yeah, you're chuckling.
It's you.
It's you. You're chuckling. You know it's you. And you see yourself kind of go through all the same actions as before. When you walk towards the thing, you get within 10 feet of it, and you suddenly see yourself become visible again. You suddenly feel like you can't move, or if you can, it's very difficult. Like maybe you can probably like move like your fingers almost or something, but it's almost imperceptible. Imperceivable is right, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. And you do see in your peripheral, you do see these other figures start to appear next to you in the thing. You see there's 14 others, and you can just barely see them. You can get a better look at them now. Not much better, but like you're definitely closer. You can see that they are. You knew before they were all wearing the same kind of garb, but you're getting kind of like this feeling from them. Make a will roll for me really quick. Not quite. Is it?
That's a fail by 1.
Fail by 1. Not quite. You can tell that you're getting a sense from them, almost like what you imagine an empath would get, but you're not quite. It's not quite strong enough to make anything out. Like you feel like you would be getting an emotion or a feeling or something, but you're not attuned to this per se. Right. So instead, you're just getting something. And as the figure moves around, you kind of see. You see the figure reach out with this pin-like thing after they examine it, and they kind of poke it into the surface, and you kind of for a moment your vision kind of goes. Actually, make another will roll. Sorry.
Sure. That's better for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
So success by 3.
3 success by 3. Okay, so for a moment you see the view out the arch changes entirely, and for a moment you see this dark, not dark, but kind of dark. Like there's light, but it's filtering through something,
Right.
and it feels really cold in this room all of a sudden. And you can see kind of this vision of just like this viewpoint just swirling around and turning, and you can see briefly up to the surface, and it looks like you're underwater. You can see this hole in the ice. And you can see up into it, and you can feel it's just getting colder and darker as you sink further into the depths. But you can see above, you see this large cloud blocking the sky, this black fog, this smoke, and you see this massive tendril reach down from the planet's atmosphere, and you see it strikes the surface of the planet somewhere, and you feel the ground shake before you, and this vision just appears as violently as it started. For a moment, you see a brief glimpse of flames as the image transfers back from this underwater view to this room of the white room, and that's what you see out of the viewpoint.
Oh no, is that what happened?
You don't know.
Oh no, that's not good.
And then after a moment, this figure kind of pulls back, and it stops and examines this purple kind of tint that's come over the lighting in this room that's streaming in from the brighter surface. And after a moment, they kind of examine it, and it looks like they try to walk away, and you feel this strong impulse to follow them, and it's almost like you imperceptibly do follow them for a ways, and then you realize they're trying to get around the arch, and you stop. And as this figure turns around the arch, you're suddenly plunged into darkness, and you once again can't you can see yourself, but you're completely obscured by this just total darkness of the room. You can see this light off in the distance, and you can see something you couldn't see before, which is there's something resting in the light in this one area of light in this total darkness.
Can I make out what it is?
You can move if you'd like.
Can I move towards it?
You can move towards it.
I'm gonna do that.
Okay, you move towards it, and once you get to the light, you can see that you get to the edge of the light, and you reach forward. Like, it's a little bit far away still. Like, this light is actually larger than you thought. It's probably got like a 20-foot diameter. It was a ways away. And as you get to the center of the light, you kind of reach forward to kind of go through. And as the dark kind of goes with the light, you reach the edge of the light, and it's like you've reached a hard wall. Like, you can't quite go through. You can make out the best you can make out is it's still pretty far away. It's a good 10 feet away, and it's not a terribly large object. It looks like almost maybe it's a metallic almost rod. It's got some things protruding from it. It might be key shaped. It might be a weapon. It's right. Something. It's metallic, and it's a metal you don't recognize. Oh, okay. It's like it looks unnatural in a way.
Right.
And after a moment, after being in this dark for probably a minute or more, you start to feel this searing pain just through your whole body.
Okay.
And yeah, you look back and you can see the arch, and you can see this figure pushing this large hand against it. And for a moment, you can see this flash of light almost right as the figure touches the hand to the thing. Mm-hmm. And you can see the other 14 figures who are still here before, and it seems they're all pushing against the hand.
Oh, interesting.
And you only see it for a split second, like in this flash of light that occurs. Right. And after a moment, the figure seems to give up, and they kind of go back. You're not sure what the searing pain was. You weren't watching when it occurred, but right. Yeah. And after a moment, you see the figure goes back, and they kind of reach their hand forward, and you see this hand lightly appear on the other side of this arch here, and you see all the figures start moving forward. Would you like to follow their lead?
I would like to follow.
Okay, you start to follow their lead, and after they all get within a certain thing, they all like lightly reach out, and they put a hand on the hand. They like lightly grasp around the wrist. Yeah, and after a moment, they just kind of pull forward, and as soon as the figure's head comes through the thing, you once again jar into consciousness. You're awake in your bed.
Interesting.
And I think that's actually a pretty good stopping point for today.
Agree.
We're 6 minutes off, and I feel like that's the best stopping point we're gonna get to for now.
Yeah.
All right.
We don't get any more.
So we can. What do you feel about today's session?
Esoteric.
Oh,
watching myself from two sides. That's interesting.
How'd you like this little session? Things didn't quite go how I went, but I did have contingencies for it this time.
You were no longer scrambling.
Last time was a little bit like but this time everything was fine. Everything was fine this time.
Very, very interested.
I didn't expect you to resist nearly as often as you did
Yeah.
at the beginning there.
Yeah.
It wasn't a problem. It just made me do some things I didn't expect to have to do.
Yeah, I rolled better than
You rolled really well.
historically I have been.
Yeah, rolling under 8 isn't like easy. That's like a 34%, I think.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
It's not a lot of possibility. Yeah, that's very interesting.
Yeah, you look very suspicious.
Well, so
You can tell me little theories about what's happening.
yeah,
Go for it.
My mind is connecting the fact that I heard, Jack.
Mhm.
Jack, yeah. He said to Eddie that not only was I touched, but I was also chosen.
Mm-hmm.
And he also had a symbol,
Mm-hmm.
meaning I'm assuming that there are at least two like factions that are somehow connected to some other things.
Okay.
And those things choose people.
Okay.
But beyond that, I don't know what to connect that to. But then I'm connecting me being chosen to these 14 other figures.
Okay.
So I'm thinking those might either be those previous to me, or like
Concurrent.
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe like either we're like the group of chosen, or like they were the past chosen. I don't know, obviously.
Okay.
But that's.
I hope my okays aren't discouraging you. You just you realize I can't confirm or deny any of this.
I know.
Okay.
I've had conversations exactly the other way.
Yeah.
People are like, well, I think this is what's going on. I'm like,
it's just like I like what I'm hearing, but I can't tell you yes or no.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't worry, you're fine. I'm like,
okay.
So those are like what my mind is starting to put together. What the arch means, and the two sides of it, and why they were trying to, the other people were stopping me from the one side. I don't know. I don't have any ideas yet. But it is really interesting, and also really like good visuals.
Thank you.
Like, it was very vivid. I liked that. It was very good. I enjoyed it. Yeah.
That room was really hard to describe.
Yeah.
Like, I had things written down, and the more I was reading them, I was like, this doesn't really say what I want. I'm just going to go as it go. I know what this room looks like.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we have 3 minutes for talk-back if people want.
That's true, if our, 1 or 2 viewers.
That's fine. It's better than no viewers.
That's true.
We appreciate you.
We do. We would be doing this without you, but...
Yeah, but it's still fun.
It's fun to have people here.
Tell your friends.
Yeah, tell your
if you
friends.
think they'd like it.
Or don't. Up to you.
I mean, we always do appreciate more. Thank you.
Yes.
We always do appreciate more viewers if you think you have friends who would like it.
Yeah. And like, the more people watch, the more people you can talk to in chat.
That's true.
Then you're not just sitting awkwardly.
The more people you can share your theories with about what's going to happen next in my little world.
You guys can talk to each other about what's going on. You can talk to me about what's going on. Maybe you'll realize things I don't, because it's not hard to do.
Everybody, that's true. Everybody has different ideas about what's happening.
They sure do. How long were you talking before me?
Probably like 10, 15 minutes.
Okay. So that's just because I don't want to listen to it.
Not crazy long. I don't think I spoiled anything.
Oh, I don't think so. I prefer to come up with my own ideas without hearing
your
input. Like, maybe if we get farther on, I might come back and listen.
I think it was mostly just me talking about the world.
That's fine. I'm probably gonna come back and re-listen to these last bits again.
Yeah.
Because I think I want
to take more thorough notes or something. Figure out what you think about it.
Yeah. Because there's definitely a lot there.
Those are pretty good. The combat at the beginning took a little longer than I wanted, but that's fine.
Yeah, it happens. Combat is always variable.
You did stay conscious a lot longer than I thought.
Did.
A lot longer than I thought you would. It wasn't a
was...
problem. I mean, like, I knew what happened while you were unconscious. I just didn't expect you to remain conscious that long.
Yeah. I was surprised that I didn't go down the first punch.
You did break, like, almost all your ribs.
I know!
Which would hurt.
A lot.
A lot.
Yeah. That would, in fact, be insanely painful.
Yeah.
And they would definitely be puncturing your lungs. And that would also be insanely painful. And then breathing would be even more painful.
I'm glad I decided not to use. I've used bleeding rules in a few campaigns. This isn't one of them. In sci-fi, it just seems less. In sci-fi, it's more reasonable that it's like, oh, they could survive no matter what. But I mean, not no matter what. But all right, that's about time for today.
Okay.
So thank you all for joining us. As always, this was Roll Out of Bed. I was your Game Master Nev.
And I was your player, Ian.
Thank you for joining us, and we hope you'll join us again next week.
And follow the links to our socials in the
and
description.
Next time, if we're going to miss a week, we'll try to stay informed. Last
Oh,
week was a
yeah.
weird occurrence. We didn't know until like Thursday.
Yeah, and we didn't get up on that, so sorry about that.
That was our bad. But yeah, thank you for joining us.
Bye.
Tell your friends.
Tell your friends. I don't know why I'm waving. They can't see me. I keep.
It's a good gesture.
It is
We're
a good
waving in spirit.
Yeah.